The stars above Earth shimmered like a sea of fireflies, peaceful and silent. But peace was often an illusion. High above Gaia Prime, the heart of Earth's global civilization, something foreign crept through the void, silent, sleek, and dangerous. A coalition stealth vessel, dark and nearly invisible to common sensors, hovered just outside Earth's defense grid. It was shaped like a black blade, its hull absorbing all light. Inside, alien officers studied Earth's surface, speaking in hushed tones in their own sharp, clicking language. "Primitive," one of them muttered. "No real threat. We'll be in and out before they notice." They were wrong. In a flash of light and energy, Earth's defense network came alive. The Aegis rings, massive orbital structures camouflaged against space, activated in perfect coordination. Beams of precision energy cut through the darkness, locking onto the stealth ship like a predator to its prey. Alarms screamed on the alien vessel. The crew scrambled, trying to escape, but they didn't stand a chance. With a thunderous pulse, a focused EMP blast disabled the ship. Engines died. The vessel froze in orbit. Earth had responded faster than any galactic power ever had, and they had done it without warning. On the surface of Gaia Prime, inside the towering structure of the Earth Defense Command, Commander Walker Wren stood over a hollow table, watching the footage with sharp eyes. He was tall, lean, and carried himself with quiet strength. Faint scars marked his face, a reminder of past battles. His black uniform bore no medals, no rank insignia. He didn't need them. Everyone knew who he was. "Run that back," Wren said. A young officer tapped the controls. The screen replayed the moment the alien ship was taken down. "Who are they?" Wren asked. "No identification yet. Coalition class, stealth grade. Same tech used during the siege of Eleron 5, the officer replied. Wren narrowed his eyes. "That was a warship." "Yes, sir, and it's in our orbit." Wren folded his arms. "Then we have our answer. They're not watching us. They're testing us." Another officer rushed in. "Sir, we've captured 2 survivors from the wreck. They're being brought to Fort Horizon for interrogation." Wren didn't hesitate. "Prep my shuttle. I'll speak to them myself." Fort Horizon sat at the edge of the Atlantic skyline, suspended by anti-grav beams, and connected by a web of floating platforms. As Wren's shuttle docked, he stepped out and moved with purpose. His boots echoed on the steel floor as he entered the holding chamber. Inside, the 2 alien prisoners sat behind a force field. One was wounded, green blood staining his silver armor. The other stared at Wren with cold, unblinking eyes. "You made a mistake coming here," Wren said, his voice low and calm. The uninjured alien bared his fangs. "We came to observe. You should be honored." Wren leaned closer. "Earth isn't a zoo, and we're not exhibits." The alien chuckled, but Wren didn't smile. "You picked the wrong planet to provoke," he continued. "Your coalition thinks Earth is harmless. That's your first mistake. And what would be the second?" The alien sneered. Wren turned away, finding out. Back at Earth Defense Command, the council was already in session. A massive round chamber, lit by a glowing globe of Earth at its center, held the planet's most powerful minds. Scientists, generals, diplomats, all arguing. They fired first. "This is an act of war," a general shouted. "We cannot reveal our strength yet," said a diplomat. "It's taken us a century to hide our advancements. One wrong move, and we trigger a full-scale galactic conflict." Wren entered, and silence followed. He stepped into the center. "They're not testing us. They're preparing for something. That was a recon mission, and next time they'll come with fire." The council looked at him. "We need to be ready," Wren said. "Bring the Phantom Armada out of hiding. Activate Project Aegis fully, and notify the Concordance. Earth's peace is over. We've been seen." There was hesitation, then slow, silent nods. One by one the council members agreed. Earth, once a silent observer in the galaxy, had been discovered, and it would not be caught sleeping again. Far from Earth, Across the swirling bands of the outer systems, the great halls of the Galactic Coalition glowed with blue crystal light. Inside the central chamber, Grand Executor Velthazar stood before a council of towering alien dignitaries. His long cloak dragged across the polished stone floor as he moved with deliberate grace. Velthazar was tall and thin, with a smooth silver face and glowing violet eyes. He spoke slowly, but each word carried the weight of command. Earth has interfered. They've fired on our vessel, destroyed our technology, and taken our soldiers, the council murmured, uneasy. Earth was supposed to be unimportant, just another minor planet on the edge of the galactic map. Velthazar raised a hand. The room silenced. They are not as primitive as we thought, he said. But they are still alone, still outnumbered. We must act now, while they are isolated. An older alien with wide eyes protested. Earth is protected under Treaty 5-9. They've declared neutrality for 100 years. Velthazar's lips curled into a cold smile. That treaty was built on the assumption that Earth was weak. But weakness is not what we found. He turned to the council. Authorize Operation Pacify. We will send a message to Earth and to all who might follow their path. There was a long pause, then a vote. It passed. The coalition's fleets began to move. Back on Earth, in a hidden shipyard inside the asteroid belt, Commander Walker Wren stepped onto the deck of Valkyrie 1, his old command vessel, freshly rebuilt and upgraded. The ship gleamed with black armor plating, pulse engine fins, and a neural core buried deep within its hull. It wasn't just fast, it could think. Wren ran a hand across the main console. Still here, he muttered. Still breathing. Behind him, Mira Zhao appeared, tablet in hand. She was young, mid-20s, with sharp eyes, dark hair tied back, and a brain faster than most computers. She was the one who built Valkyrie 1's new core. She's ready, Mira said, tapping her screen. I finished the interface with the neural AI. She's smarter now, faster, and bonded to you. Wren raised an eyebrow. Bonded to me. She learns from you, Mira said. Emotions, decisions, instincts. You'll guide her. She'll protect you. Wren gave a small nod. Then let's take her for a ride. The coalition's attack came swift and without warning. Europa Gate, one of Earth's largest mining outposts near Jupiter, was the first target. A coalition dreadnought emerged from hyperspace, launching a wave of plasma torpedoes that tore through station defenses. Explosions lit up the icy surface of the moon. Automated systems failed. Emergency beacons screamed. Back on Earth, alarms blared across the Gaia Prime Command Center. Europa Gate is under attack, a technician shouted. Multiple hostiles. Coalition class. Wren didn't hesitate. Deploy the Phantom Armada. I want squadrons out in 5 minutes. Valkyrie 1 will lead the charge. In space, the counterattack arrived with deadly precision. Out of cloaked asteroid fields and hidden warp tunnels, Earth's secret fleet emerged. Sleek ships with angular armor and advanced weaponry surrounded the coalition forces like a swarm of wasps. Valkyrie 1 led the charge, its engines lighting up the void with a roar. Wren sat in the command chair, connected directly to the ship's neural interface. He could feel her thinking, responding to his instincts. Target their command ship, Wren ordered. And fire. A storm of energy missiles flew from Valkyrie 1's base. Shields collapsed. The coalition vessel spun out of control, its engines flaring. Inside the coalition dreadnought, chaos spread. Officers screamed in confusion. This wasn't a primitive world. This was a trap. One by one, the enemy ships were disabled or destroyed. Earth's forces moved like a single organism, fast, precise, and unrelenting. When the battle was over, the wreckage of the coalition fleet floated silently above Europa's surface. Wren opened a channel to the galaxy. His face appeared on hundreds of alien screens. This is Commander Walker Wren of Gaia Prime, he said. Earth is not a target. We are not prey. Come for us again, and you will learn why the stars once feared our kind. He ended the transmission. Back at Gaia Prime, cheers echoed across the command centers. But Mira stood quietly, eyes on her screen. "They won't back off," she said. "You've embarrassed them." That was just the first wave. Ren stared into the stars beyond the glass window. "Then we'll be ready for the next." The news of Earth's surprise victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. In distant systems, hidden colonies, and outlaw trade hubs, whispers filled the air. Earth, once mocked and ignored, had crushed a coalition fleet. One single world had stood against the most powerful empire in known space, and won. Some races saw hope, others saw danger, and the coalition saw only defiance. Back on Gaia Prime, inside the heart of Earth Defense Command, Commander Walker Wren walked down the silent corridors of the upper level. The air was tense. Even with the victory at Europa Gate, everyone knew what was coming next. The coalition wouldn't retreat. They would strike back harder. Wren entered the strategy chamber, where a large hologram of the solar system glowed over the central table. Mira Zhao was already there, running scans and simulations. Her eyes were focused, her fingers flying over the controls. "Any signs of new enemy movement?" Wren asked. "Not yet," Mira replied. "But we intercepted strange signals from the Mars relay. Could be encrypted coalition transmissions." Wren frowned. "Could be. Or someone here could be feeding them data." Mira looked up. "You think we have a traitor?" Wren nodded. "Too many things have been moving too fast. They knew exactly where to strike at Europa. That wasn't a guess. That was inside intel." Mira sighed. "I'll run a scan through the internal channels. I'll trace the leak." Later that day, a private emergency meeting was called inside the Earth Council chamber. The room was filled with quiet tension as Wren spoke. "We have reason to believe someone within our leadership is passing information to the enemy." Gasps filled the room. Counselors looked at one another nervously. "We don't know who yet," Wren continued. "But the coalition knew too much. They hit our weak spots. We can't assume anything is secure until we find the leak." An old diplomat stood up. "You have no proof. Accusing our own people during wartime will cause panic." Wren stared him down. "What will cause panic is another successful enemy strike while we sit here hoping it's all a coincidence." Silence followed. Then the council reluctantly agreed to authorize a secret investigation. Mira would lead the cyber trace, with full access to internal comms and transmissions. That night, Mira worked late in the command center, alone except for the hum of computers. Lines of code and encrypted files filled her screen. Most were normal. But deep in the archive, hidden under layers of false data, she found something strange. An unauthorized relay signal embedded in the council's secure line. Her eyes widened. Someone had been transmitting Earth's movements, fleet deployments, and defense codes directly to an unknown receiver in deep space. She traced the source. Her breath caught. It was coming from the private terminal of Counselor Durrell, one of Earth's oldest and most respected leaders. She tapped her communicator. "Wren, I found our traitor." Moments later, Wren stormed into the council tower with a team of security officers. They moved quickly and quietly, locking down the floor. The other counselors were rushed out. Counselor Durrell stood at his desk, calm and composed, as if he'd been expecting them. "You always were too clever, Wren," he said softly. "Why?" Wren asked, voice low. "Why betray Earth?" Durrell smiled sadly. "Because we were never meant to fight them. The coalition promised us survival, peace, a seat at the table." "At what cost?" Wren snapped. "At the cost of war," Durrell shouted. "You think we can beat them all? That we can hold off the entire galaxy forever?" Wren stepped forward. "We already have, and we're not done." Durrell reached for something beneath his desk, but the guards moved faster. They dragged him away as he cursed them. "Fools, they will burn this planet to the ground, and you'll all thank me when it's too late." Wren stared at him. "We'll take our chances." The next morning, the council released a public statement. An internal betrayal had been stopped. Trust was shaken, but Earth stood united. Still, the damage was done. The Coalition had gained access to Earth's old codes and ship positions. The playing field had changed. Ren called Mira to his office. We need to move faster. Shift our fleet. Change every code. Activate Project Omega. Mira paused. Are you sure? Ren nodded. We've already shown them our strength. Now it's time to show them what we're really capable of. Mira looked serious. What about the AI core? We integrate it, Ren said. Full control, full power. Mira swallowed. Then we cross a line. We already did, Ren replied. Now we decide what kind of future we fight for. He looked out over Gaia Prime, its cities glowing beneath a rising sun. The war was no longer coming. It had already begun. The sky over Gaia Prime turned red, not from sunset, but from the burning trails of incoming warships breaking through Earth's upper atmosphere. The Coalition had arrived. Their armada spread across the sky like a black storm, dozens of dreadnoughts and fighter swarms descending in perfect formation. They didn't bother hiding. This wasn't a sneak attack. It was a message. Earth's destruction had begun. Inside Earth Defense Command, alarms blared and lights flashed. The entire command floor shook as the first plasma round struck orbital shields. Commander Walker Wren stood at the center of the chaos, barking orders. Launch Skyhawk squadrons now. Activate ground-to-space railguns. Officers scrambled, tapping controls, shouting commands into headsets. Wren turned to the giant screen displaying Earth's orbit. Ships blinked in red. Enemy vessels closing fast. They're targeting the Aegis rings, Mira Zhao said, rushing in beside him. Wren nodded. They want to cut our vision, blind us before they land. Mira's face was pale, but her hands were steady. We need to engage Valkyrie 1 now. The neural AI is ready. I finished syncing it last night. Wren hesitated. Will it work? It has to, she said. Above the planet, Earth's hidden fleet, the Phantom Armada, uncloaked. Ships erupted from asteroid fields, old satellite shells, and deep ocean launch platforms. Valkyrie 1 led them, slicing through space like a black arrow, its engines glowing hot with blue fire. Wren was already aboard, connected through the neural interface. As his thoughts linked with the ship, he could feel it breathing with him, sensing danger, reacting faster than his hands ever could. Valkyrie 1, he whispered. Let's hunt. The AI replied in his mind with a soft voice. Ready, Commander. The battle in orbit was brutal. Coalition fighters darted between Earth ships, firing with deadly precision. But the Terran ships had speed, unpredictability, and instincts, things the enemy didn't expect. Valkyrie 1 weaved between dreadnoughts, launching shockwave torpedoes and particle-laced cannons. Wren moved like a ghost, never staying still, always striking where it hurt. One by one, enemy ships began to fall, but it wasn't enough. A massive Coalition flagship broke through the outer defenses and began descending toward Gaia Prime. Its weapons glowed red-hot, preparing to unleash devastation on the capital. Wren's eyes widened. They're bypassing us. He tapped into the fleet channel. Redirect all fire to that flagship. We can't let it reach the surface. But it was too late. The flagship's lower decks opened, releasing landing vessels toward the planet's surface. The siege had begun. In the streets of Gaia Prime, panic spread as Coalition troops landed. Alien machines marched through city blocks, tall spider-like walkers, with glowing eyes and energy lances. Explosions shattered buildings. Civilians ran for shelter. Earth's ground forces responded quickly. Biomech soldiers, armored drones, and rapid response teams met the invaders head-on. The air filled with smoke, screams, and gunfire. Mira Zhao had stayed behind at Earth Defense Command, working at the core terminal. But now, with the battle reaching the capital itself, she had a new mission. She opened a secure channel to Wren. They're jamming us. We'll lose coordination unless I plug directly into the uplink grid. That's too dangerous, Wren replied. I designed it. I'm the only one who can run it manually. Before he could stop her, she was already gone, racing through the burning corridors of the tower toward the uplink control room at the top. Outside, the city burned. By the time Mira reached the uplink tower, it was under fire. She ducked through shattered doors, dodged sparks, and climbed over fallen rubble. A squad of enemy drones closed in on her position. She reached into her satchel and activated a pulse device. Boom! The blast took them out. She climbed to the control console and plugged in the AI core she had carried with her. Lights flickered. Data flowed. The uplink grid came back online, and the entire Earth fleet snapped back into formation. In space, Ren felt it immediately. Fleet coordination restored. Valkyrie 1 whispered. Ren gritted his teeth. We're not finished yet. He pushed the ship into overdrive, charging directly at the Coalition flagship. Weapons flared on both sides. Inside the enemy vessel, alien officers screamed orders, but they couldn't hit what they couldn't track. Valkyrie 1 was too fast, too sharp, too human. Ren unleashed the full power of the ship's main cannon. The Coalition flagship exploded in a blinding flash, its pieces raining down like falling stars. Earth was still alive. Back on the surface, Mira staggered out of the tower, coughing from smoke. Coalition troops surrounded her. Just as they raised their weapons, Valkyrie 1 dropped from the sky like a meteor, blowing the attackers back with a wave of shock energy. The landing bay opened. Ren ran to her side and pulled her aboard. You always have to make things difficult, he said, half smiling. Mira collapsed into the seat beside him, breathing hard. We're not dead, so that's something. They looked out the viewport together as the sky slowly cleared. For now, Earth had survived. But Ren knew this wasn't the end. Not yet. The battle for Earth was not over. High above the planet, the sky still burned with wreckage and fire, but the largest threat had yet to arrive. Breaking through the debris field came the Sovereign Flame, the Coalition's command ship. It was massive, over 10 kilometers long, armored in dark red alloy and bristling with weapons. It was the pride of the Coalition fleet, and at its helm stood Grand Executor Velikazar. His eyes glowed as he watched Earth's defense struggle below. Despite heavy losses, the Terrans were still fighting, still surviving. Impressive, he muttered, stepping forward on the bridge. But they will learn what true power looks like. He raised his hand. Prepare the core weapon. Target Gaia Prime. Inside Valkyrie 1. Commander Walker Wren stared at the screen as the Sovereign Flame came into view. Even his advanced ship paled in size next to it. Mira Zhao, pale and weak but conscious again, looked over the data. It's powering its main cannon, she said. They're going to wipe out the capital. Wren tightened his grip on the console. Then we take it down. One shot, one chance. The neural AI pulsed through his thoughts. We are outgunned, outnumbered, but we are not outmatched. Wren nodded. Let's end this. The Terran fleet regrouped behind Wren. Smaller ships formed a loose barrier, buying Valkyrie 1 a path to the enemy. Fighters screamed past each other. Lasers and missiles filled the void. Explosions lit up the battlefield. Wren flew straight toward the Sovereign Flame, weaving through enemy fire with split-second movements only a human AI bond could manage. The massive ship loomed closer, its energy building to fire. Core weapon charging, 95%. Mira said, target their central vent. That's their weakness, Wren replied. But we'll need to get close, too close. Mira looked at him. You'll never make it out in time. Wren didn't answer. They reached the critical range. Coalition guns opened fire from all angles. Wren dodged left, rolled right, and plunged the Valkyrie into a tight spin. Shields flared, hulls cracked. They were hit, but still flying. Firing main cannon, Wren said. Valkyrie 1 unleashed everything. Shock torpedoes, kinetic lances, focused EMP bursts. The impact hit the vent hard, cracking it wide open. But it wasn't enough. The Sovereign Flame kept charging. Its weapon was seconds from firing. Wren made a choice. Mira, he said quietly, activate Project Omega. Her eyes widened. That'll destroy us both. It's the only way, Ren said. They won't stop unless we stop them first. She looked at him, then nodded. They connected to the AI core and began the Omega sequence. A bright blue glow filled the cockpit. Inside the Sovereign Flame, Vel'Thazar received an alert. A Terran vessel was inside their primary core radius. Too close to shoot, too fast to catch. He narrowed his eyes. What are they doing? The light surged. Valkyrie 1 triggered the Omega drive. A collapsing energy burst, powered by both AI core and human mind. It formed a singularity, sucking in the energy of both ships. The Sovereign Flame tried to escape, but it was too slow. With a massive, blinding flash, the entire command ship imploded, folding in on itself. The explosion sent a shockwave through the stars. Silence followed. On Gaia Prime, the skies cleared. The remaining coalition ships, leaderless and stunned, retreated. Earth's forces watched in awe. The unthinkable had happened. The Sovereign Flame had fallen, and Valkyrie 1 was gone. Hours later at Earth Defense Command, Mira's voice came through the core system. Weak, digital. Ren made it possible. He linked his thoughts fully. He gave everything. The AI had preserved part of her consciousness, but Ren's signal had vanished during the final burst. There was no recovery. Earth had won, but Ren was gone. The world mourned, but they also stood tall. Because of Ren, humanity had a future. A monument was raised in Gaia Prime, 2 wings of black steel, pointing to the stars. Engraved below, he showed them what Earth truly was. Months passed since the fall of the Sovereign Flame. Earth was quiet now. Cities were being rebuilt. Skies once filled with fire and ash now held peace and hope. Gaia Prime, once under siege, had become a symbol of survival. People planted gardens on rooftops, cleaned streets, and repaired shattered towers. Children played again. Laughter returned to the air. But beneath that peace, something had changed. Earth was no longer seen as weak. Across the galaxy, once powerful empires watched with caution. Alien broadcasts now spoke the name Earth with respect or fear. Trade routes shifted. Old alliances cracked. New ones formed around Earth's growing influence. What the galaxy once dismissed had become impossible to ignore. Humanity had arrived. Inside Earth Defense Command, Mira Zhao stood before the core terminal. Her body was gone. She now lived as a consciousness within the system, a digital ghost. Yet her presence was real. She spoke through speakers, her voice calm and clear. The last of the coalition fleet has withdrawn. No signs of return. We've begun negotiations with former neutral systems. On the screen, fleet deployments and trade movements lit up. But Mira's thoughts were elsewhere. Deep within the AI systems, she continued to search for one signal, the last trace of Commander Walker Ren. So far, nothing. Until now. A soft beep echoed in the room. The signal was faint, buried under layers of cosmic radiation and old communication codes. It came from beyond the edge of the known galaxy. Coordinates unknown. Format: Terran. Specifically, Old Earth command codes. Mira focused. It was short. Only 4 words. Still here. Keep going. Her digital heart would have skipped a beat if she had one. A week later, the council met again in the rebuilt chamber. Mira addressed them through hologram. We've received a signal. Terran origin. Confirmed as Ren's personal ID code. The room went silent. Is it possible he survived? A counselor asked. I don't know, Mira said. But I intend to find out. There was a pause. Then a slow nod of agreement from the council. Then we send a ship. At the Terran shipyards, a new vessel stood ready. Sleek, dark, and silent. It was faster than Valkyrie 1. Stronger. Built not just for war, but for discovery. Its name, Starbound Ren. A small crew boarded. Among them was Mira, now fully integrated into the ship's systems. She guided them from within. As the ship rose into the sky, Earth watched. This wasn't just a rescue. It was the beginning of something greater. Far beyond the stars, In a quiet corner of deep space, a broken planet floated near the remains of a collapsed star. And on that surface, a signal beacon blinked slowly in the dark, waiting. Earth had won the war, but the story wasn't over. Not yet. Because in the silence beyond the stars, something had awakened, and Earth was ready.